What's up, people? Today this is just a little mini project here. I'm going to see if I could upgrade this Bird Model 43 True Line watt meter and see if I could make it new again. Okay, this thing is a watt meter. Out of all the kits, if you want to get really into communications and be like the comm tech of your group or whatever, you truly need one of these. Not specifically this model. There's others like MFJ and Telewave. There's a whole bunch of companies out there that make watt meters, but this is one bulletproof watt meter that I've had experience for the past 20 to 25 years. When I first started in electronics in the Marine Corps kits, this is what they issued you. Or in the electronic repair package, repair kits that you have, this is part of it, and this is what they had. The Bird Model 43. Tough, hardcore piece of equipment that's still valid today, and we still use it a lot today. Obviously, I'm going to upgrade it or sort of refurbish it, really, with a meter repair kit. See, this is the problem with this meter here. Right now I have a ham UHF frequency that I'm going to transmit into. It's going to come in through the line, go through the meter, and I should be able to read how much wattage I'm going in one way. And the wattage is going to go this way and into this dummy load here. 50 ohm load is supposed to represent a perfect antenna. So whatever this radio is transmitting is going to go through here without any losses going back to the radio. For instance, if you had a bad antenna, some of that power will actually travel back. I know on UHF on this radio it transmits like maybe 4 watts. Look at the meter there. Now if I tap the meter while I'm transmitting, there's my full deflection there. And now it's reading 4.2 watts on UHF. See, but that's a problem. It's not supposed to kind of hang up there. Sometimes it'll hang up over here, and it's an intermittent problem within this watt meter. It's been bouncing around in my truck for years, at least 9 since I've had it. So that's not acceptable for an accurate reading. I kind of know it, so I know if I tap it in a certain right way, that is my correct reading compared to another one. But I don't want to rely on that, just tapping it just right to make it work. So I went over to our test equipment lab that the organization that I work for has to maintain all the test equipment that us field techs have. And I told him about my particular problem, and he just hands me this box here. It's a meter repair kit from Bird. Specifically, the part number is Romeo Papa Kilo 43-4 meter kit, and there's the pertinent information. Hopefully it'll come out on the screen, and I haven't even opened this thing up yet, so I don't even know what it looks like. But this kit here is supposed to replace the meter board. Instead of guessing, let me go ahead and open it up and see. I swapped meters. This unit here I actually found in the recycling bin, so this was going to be shit canned. So I replaced the slug that's replaceable here, and everything else is the same. So here I am, I'm transmitting, and it just transmits when it wants to. And as you can see, it's very intermittent. Yeah, that's intermittent there. And this one is reading 3.4 watts. So almost a 1 watt less, and you can see that it's dancing around. So this one is even worse off than this particular meter. This, I would imagine, is what you'll probably get in an eBay special. Buyer beware, that's all I can say. But you could probably buy like this particular thing here for like 20 bucks as is, just to get the casing, and then buy the kit, which I think costs like $200 and something. So with this here, the innards will be totally new and calibrated, but with the outer shell that's kind of beat up and stuff. But you'll have a $450 piece of equipment for half that, and all you care about really is, does it work properly and the innards are, in good working calibrated order. So the kit comes with one complete meter kit here, brand new. This is the back of it with the little sort of sensor cable there or whatever. And that's it. I guess I was wrong. It doesn't come with this particular assembly there, but usually that's pretty hardcore and just a passive device. Here's a little gasket for it and the bezel ring to secure it within the face over here. So you take off the back plate and it's only secured by these 4 screws in the corner here, this one here, and there's one in each corner there. And that takes off this back plate, this right here. And then you undo these 2 screws here. That takes this assembly off because you need access to sort of unscrew the metering cable there. And one difference that I see here is this is a pretty long ass cable there. I'm imagining this is original, so they kind of coiled it in there. And the cable for this new one there is quite a bit shorter. And then on the side here you got 2 more screws there, this one here and this one here, that loosens up the actual meter, which is this ring right here, and there's the securing screws there, and that just pops right out just like that. And you can see on the old kit, that's where that gasket's supposed to be, and then the ring here, and just put it all together. Pretty intuitive where you could do this on your own. So I'm going to go ahead and slap this together here. Oh, by the way, it looks like you only need a Phillips screwdriver. This assembly here just unscrews from the this metering sort of tunnel there where all the power will go through, and some of it will be piped into the meter to be measured. So here's the metering assembly all in there. Like I said, it was secured by 2 screws, 1, 2, and that screws onto this bezel ring here, and the bezel ring sort of keeps it in place. It's got a little foam sort of gasket there too to kind of buffer it or whatever. You center it the best you can, and here's the cable, and it's got like a protective little cover there. You just unscrew that off when you're getting ready to connect it to this assembly here, just like so. We'll do that here in a minute. So here it is, all attached, no big deal, and you just carefully work it in there to where the bottom jack there is facing on the bottom of the meter there. And that's about it. This you could stuff in just like that when you get the main lid on there. And to secure this to the case, just 2 screws, 1, 2. Don't mind this hook here. This is just a one big old piece of copper that I used, and made myself a makeshift sort of hook to where when I'm measuring equipment on racks or vehicles, I could hook this somewhere out of the way where and do whatever test I need to do. So that's what this is all about. Little piece of redneck engineering there that I love to do so much. Okay, so we got it all replaced in there, and everything is all buttoned up, ready to go. Do a little test here. 4.2 watts, just like the other meter, the old meter that we took out of there, but with the big difference of it's not intermittent. It'll show each and every time. It's a little bit slower sort of reaction, but that's kind of good. We don't want, things pegging out and hitting the sides and stuff like that. So that was a success. One thing the instructions didn't tell you here at all was you have to remove this sort of shorting strap here. I think it's just to keep the meter in a neutral sort of polarity there, so the internals won't get all energized or something like that. That's what I'm imagining. So all you got to do actually is just take it out. It's just kind of like a leaf spring sort of shorting strap, and then go ahead and install it into your new casing there. The instructions doesn't tell you that at all. So after I put it together and tested it, it didn't work, and I was like, what the hell? And that was the case. So here are the guts to this unit here that was thrown out for recycling. And this is the original meter of it, and this wasn't working or accurate at all. This one here was intermittent from my original sort of refurbishment job here. So let's test it out, see if it's any better on this one here, even though it's all torn apart. And I do get about 4.1 watts. It seems to be stable, yeah, and it's reading somewhat accurately, just like this one here. So it's a crapshoot sometimes, you know. Sometimes you got to just clean the inside and get that thing working. Now I could just put this meter to replace the old one, and this meter should be working just fine. And this was slated to be recycled and just shit canned and thrown away. But now I have a spare sort of watt meter that I could use as a backup. Alright, we got a working accurate watt meter here. All we had to replace was the metering panel here. That seems to be the brains of the whole assembly, including the slugs. And these slugs here, here's a variety of slugs here. Like this one here covers from 100 megahertz to 250 megahertz of maximum of 100 watts. So this could measure up to 100 watts. This here will measure up to 1 watt from 200 megahertz to 300 megahertz. This particular one here is 10 watts maximum, and frequency range of 100 megahertz to 250. These could range from maybe $20 up to $170, depending on the wattage capability or capacity and the frequency and stuff like that. It just depends what you guys are using out there in the field. I'm actually using all this stuff here. So with even though the bird watt meter is hardcore old school technology that still is chugging along, you do have a bit more expenses getting the proper slugs for your operating frequency. It just depends what you guys are using. It could be, even though it's old school, it could still be sort of expensive. This could be maybe $400 completely new, and then you have to buy the slugs. There are units out there that's way cheaper, and they don't require any slugs at all. We still use this here, so I still have it around to use, and it's what I'm comfortable with. It's what I've used for literally decades. And this one here I've been using since 2006 with the old meter there, and all I had to do is just replace the meter here, and I could probably do another 10-15 years with this if I don't beat it up too much. But like I said, there's other manufacturers out there where you don't have to go this route. I'm just saying, if you see something on eBay like this beat up unit here, and this one's actually working pretty well now that I put the old meter from here to here, and I'm actually not getting that glitch that you've seen before. So, but it's good to sort of replace it all in my case. But this has a little bit more life in it now, where this is totally trashed. Like I said, there's other manufacturers that is cheaper, more user friendly. But if you see something like this on eBay and it's not too beat up, personally I would jump on it. If the price is right and if it's a little beat up, you could just buy the faceplate for, I don't know, I think it's like $200 and something, and you have yourself practically a brand new unit that would last you for decades, literally, if you take care of it. But it is a pretty tough piece of equipment. I've seen these things worldwide. Kuwait, the Pacific, all the services just about used this, at least when I was in, and it just keeps on ticking. It's a passive device, so you don't need to power this up. The power of the radio will do its magic in here to make this thing read what you need to read as far as wattage. in the context of how to use it in a system, how you troubleshoot with it, here I have a mag mount with a UHF VHF antenna, but we're just going to use the UHF part of it here. So here we have forward power going this way, so the meter there is the arrows indicating the direction of the power. So it's going from radio out to the antenna and out to the world. So that's power out. You transmit, and going into this antenna here, I'm getting 3.8 watts coming out. Before it was 4.2 on a perfect load, this load right here. But now it's seeing something practical, something that's going to use out there. You're always going to get some sort of losses. Depends on how this is cut, the frequency being used. Is it tuned to that frequency? So if I turn the knob here, the arrow's pointing this way now, that measures the return power if there's any damage here in the line or anything, or this is mistuned. Some of the power that's supposed to be radiated out, it's actually going to stay on the line there, and some of it is going to travel back into your radio. In this case, very minimal. You just see just a little bit come back. That's within specs though, and I'll get into details of that maybe later down the line. But this tells me that this system here is tuned correctly for efficient transmission. I've taken the antenna off. There's no antenna on this now, so that will cause some problems. But let's say this antenna was on there and you have reception problems and people cannot copy you and problems like that. Now you want to check your system out and see what's going on. Power out. I'm reading 2.6 watts going out. And I should be reading 3 point something watts out, 3.8 at least. So that tells me, hey, there's some sort of problem going on here. I turn the dial here to see what my reflective power, and wow, that's 2.2 watts coming out. So going out is 2.6 and coming back it's 2.6. That is a total problem. Rule of thumb, I know there's formulas out there and stuff like that, but rule of thumb is for a good antenna is an antenna that does not reflect more than 10% of your output power. So if 10 watts is going out, you're not supposed to get 1 watt coming back in. That's sort of the rule of thumb that kind of tells you, if you got that condition, there might be something wrong. Here I'm getting 2 watts going out and 2 watts coming back in. I mean, that's almost all of it. And of course you do your troubleshooting, you go outside and you look at the top and you don't have no antenna there. So let's put your proper UHF antenna on there to see what that reads now. And right now this is still reading reflective power. Transmit. It's hardly moving. It's 0.1 or 0.2 watts coming back, which is within the 10% range of it being good. So that's pretty much why this piece of equipment is really important to have as a test equipment in your sort of communications kit. For those of you who are going deeper into the electronics of radio than just using it. Like I said, this is just one option that I've been seeing on eBay quite a bit. It's the Bird watt meter. I'm a Bird 43 watt meter fanboy. I've been using this for decades, and this is what I know. So that's what I'm touting now. The Telex ones, the ones with the Telex watt meter, that's a pretty good watt meter there too. And MFJ, never used it, so I can't really have a opinion about it. But from what I hear, they're pretty good for what they are and for the price range that is out there. And I think they call it something else, like antenna analyzer or something like that. Not specifically a watt meter, but a lot of those equipment, they do measure power out and power and reflective power coming back. Like I said, the only sort of downside of the Bird watt meter is you have to get sort of these slugs here that measure specifically a frequency range and a wattage range, and it's just for accuracy. the closer you are to what you're expecting on a slug or whatever, the more accurate it would read. So if let's say you have a slug that measures 250 watts like this one, but you're only measuring a radio that does 1 watt to 5 watts. I mean, you have to kind of reduce your resolution there to get a more accurate picture of what's going on. That's what I'm saying. It's more of a resolution thing than it is, and accuracy as well. And there it is, little upgrade sort of replacement repair kit. This guy right here that takes this old piece of workhorse here and makes it into a almost new piece of equipment there for your troubleshooting. And later on, of course, I'll be bringing this out, and I've been bringing this out to show you guys when we do play with other equipment and antennas and radios and stuff. So like I said, this is a really important piece of equipment to have in your kit. For those of you guys that are getting in more into it.